I'm Penny and this is my channel. So as you guys know, the 3DS has been released and it's had pretty positive reviews. I've heard a few bad things about the battery life. People have been saying it's only lasting 3 to 5 hours. Luckily there have been a few companies that have made some fixes to this problem pretty quick. Nyko released something called the Power Pack Plus, which screws onto the Nintendo 3DS and makes it about a fifth wider. The website Joystick ran a few tests with the Power Pack. I'll link to the page in the description so you guys can see. The longest they managed to make the Power Pack last was 9 hours and 4 minutes, with the brightness turned down, power save on, 3D off, no fancy effects or anything. A company called Newbie Gaming brought out something called the Power Play. It doesn't actually screw onto the 3DS at all, it's like a case that just slips over the console. The Amazon description claims that it triples the battery life of the 3DS, but I'm a little hesitant to believe that. If you didn't want something that was on your 3DS all the time, you might be interested in a little product that ThinkGeek released a while ago. It's called the Universal Gadget Wrist Charger. It's like a little band that goes on your wrist. You charge it up when you're at home. You plug it into your 3DS and it'll use its battery and the wrist battery. There have been a few other products around the internet, but those are the main three that I'm interested in. When I get my 3DS, I'll probably be getting one of the first two. It mostly depends if someone will actually run tests for the Power Play and see if it does what it claims to do, which is triple the battery life. In non-3DS news, I've been playing Motorstorm Apocalypse this week. Motorstorm Apocalypse has actually been delayed in a lot of countries due to all the earthquakes recently, and they're not actually shipping any more copies to the places where it has been released, so it might be a little hard to get your hands on at this point. If you do manage to get a copy of Motorstorm Apocalypse, it is a really fun game. I've mostly played in multiplayer. I did a little bit of the single player last night. This is my first Motorstorm game, so I don't really have anything to compare it to in the exact same game series. It's a pretty crazy game to play, but it's a lot of fun. There's a lot to keep your eyes on at all times. There's things going on all around you. The city's falling to pieces, so you have to make sure you're not going to run into something that's just fallen down in front of you. There's no real set path. There's a few different ways to go. Some of them are shorter than others. You can ram your opponents off to the side and wreck their cars. Whenever your car gets crashed or wrecked, it goes into a little cutscene and shows it all smashed up. If you're not playing in a closed-in vehicle and the person you're controlling is actually exposed, when you crash, he'll go flying off and land somewhere, scrape along the floor. A lot of the time when I crash, it makes me sort of go, ooh, because it looks so painful. We've been playing 3 modes in multiplayer. There's the normal race, there's elimination, and there's a mode where you have to keep up with whoever's in first place. In the race mode, you just have to race around the cities and try to get to the finish line first, obviously. In the elimination mode, they'll eliminate the person in last place every, I think, 15 seconds or so. It's pretty cool. It's a big race because it'll go into sudden death mode sometimes, and you have to get, I'm not really sure what makes it go into sudden death mode, but you have to get a certain way ahead of the person in front of you. It's a little confusing, but I love it. There's also the mode where you have to stay as close as you can to the person who's in first place, and it'll automatically eliminate you if you get too far behind. It's pretty hectic, but with everything already going on and having to try and keep up as fast as you can, knowing that you get eliminated. If you go too far back, the screen kind of starts flashing orangey red around you, so you know you'll be eliminated soon. So you start pressing the boost button, and then you have to watch that you don't overheat your engine and explode. I've overheated my engine a few times because I've just been so preoccupied with making sure I'm not crashing into anything and watching things fall down around me and trying to avoid being wrecked by other cars. I tend to play on the superbike, so it's a little hard to avoid being wrecked by monster cars and the big rigs and stuff like that. If I see one coming towards me, I'm pretty much just screwed. The story mode is a little bit weird. I like the single player, but they've added a story in, which is apparently new to the Motorstorm series. It's all done in a kind of comic arts, animation but not really style, and the voice acting is terrible. They haven't really explained a lot of it. It just seems to be a lot of cartoon characters moving their mouths, kind of moving aside a little bit. So the story is terrible, but the game is fantastic. I definitely recommend picking up Motorstorm Apocalypse if you can get a copy of it or when you can get a copy of it. I'll also just update you guys quickly on how my Ocarina of Time progress is going. I made it through the Fire Temple and started the Water Temple. I'm not that far in yet, but I can already see that going back and resetting the water levels a billion times is going to be super annoying, as well as the iron boots on and off and on and off. I'm definitely looking forward to the 3DS version having the iron boots as an equipable item in the C buttons. I don't really have that much more to say right now, so I'll let you guys go. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll try to have another one up in the next few days. Bye!